As we see it, there are five main challenges to sales management, in addition to the day-to-day operations of sales teams going out and meeting your customers and so forth. The first is in relation to determining the zone of interest that they have in the particular market. And this is very important nowadays with the level of disruption there is, with the level of incursion, particularly from larger companies into smaller company space, that management teams sit down probably at least once a year and determine what area of the market would they like to operate in, what type of products, what type of customers. And they shouldn't leave that to the sales teams on a day-to-day basis. They should be very clear about why they want to be in a market or not, and they should decide that and let everybody know, including their customers. So that's the first thing. So every year people should look what areas are we interested in. The second is, I think, to do with understanding the needs of the client and their business. This may seem very obvious, but to do that, you've really got to segment the market, segment your customer base. In a lot of cases, companies deal with many types of customers, and they've really got to drill in and understand the needs of each of those types. They've got to understand the market. Sometimes there's a gap in the market, but there may not be what we call a market in the gap. It just may not be profitable to offer there. The third is they should be aware of what their competitors are doing, so that finally at this level that they can come up with a good menu of offerings, which is constantly nowadays being updated, so that they give their sales teams a fair chance of success, where they have formulated a good range of offerings, whether you're in manufacturing, retail, service and so forth, that you have looked at the market, you understand what's out there, you understand the needs, and you come up with a good set of offerings. That's the second important management challenge. The third is to work out what level of promise, what level of care are you going to give to the customers. Sometimes when you read brochures and so forth, people promise everything. At certain price points, that's not really realistic. You've really got to be very clear with your customers. For example, in some cases where it's a very keen price, we maybe just have a promise to deliver the goods as you said we would. In another case where, for example, we provide a very rich service, we might want to add a lot of care and attention. And we think we should be clear with our teams, with everybody who interacts with our customers, what are the minimum level of standards of care that are necessary. In today's world, obviously, the digital world requires us also to express what level of digital support will we give to our customers depending on where it is. So that's the third level. The next area of it is, in fact, to then break down these challenges, segment the market, and start to allocate each one of these challenges to one of the management team, to allocate not just the lagging indicators of when sales will happen, but also the leading indicators. How are we going to make the market aware of our product? How are we going to make clients interested? Are we going to follow our clients and ensure that we're following them in the discussion? And then finally that will lead on to the actual sale. But we should break down all of the issues and allocate them around the team, so that when we look at our organization, we can see who's responsible for what. In a lot of cases with mid-market companies, they tend to just look at a simple sales every month or every week and so forth. I think it needs to be more complicated than that. Not too complicated, but a little bit more complicated than that. And the final key issue is to constantly stay on top of it, to track what's happening, to manage sales on a monthly basis. Don't leave it till November if you're on a calendar year to see can you make up sales. Then it's too late. To track both the actual results, but also the leading indicators of, are there enough people interested? Can we stimulate more interest earlier in the year? If we don't know enough about our market, have we tasked someone to do it? So it's to stay on top of that and manage it, so that by the end of the year, our targets in both maintaining our revenue and in growing our revenue have a much better chance of being achieved. In our opinion, as we've looked at the market, mid-market companies, we think are we're leaving sales and value on the table because they're not spending enough time on this. Operations and following through operationally with sales teams is absolutely vital, but also we think there's a leadership challenge there to ensure that the environment in which those people operate, the tools which they have, the offerings which they have, gives them a really good chance for success. And the more time, and a little bit more time and effort they spend in this area, we think will be more than well repaid in terms of increasing the sales and growing the value of the business. Mazars could help essentially by sitting down and first of all by sitting down with the management team and having a look at those 5 key pillars. And we can work with you from our experience from all sorts of industries and so forth of working alongside a company to determine what their optimum zone of interest should be. The second part, obviously, we can look with the whole question of sales channel, analysing the data. In a lot of cases, if you're in retail, the data is based on, for example, it can be up to millions of different individual retail transactions. We can help you get to know your customers. We can use data to see what your customers' wants and needs are, and we can help structure the information to help you make clearer sense of what your customers' needs are and what type of offering. And from that then we can help with the whole question of the pricing policy for each of these to see does it make sense, where should we allocate limited investment, and moving on from there we can help with our colleagues in HR and on the digital side, ensuring that these tasks get properly allocated to people who have the skills, and then, and most importantly, we can help with developing what we would call a full sales KPI dashboard, which will keep the company on top of the situation, so it can basically monitor it on a month-by-month basis. So by it comes to the year end, we've done as much proactively as we could possibly do, and by and large, when that happens, you get much better results.